Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Milan Kohut, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Matthew Hunt, the founder of Demandii, a done-for-you demand generation agency that helps B2B companies create new demand and achieve exponential growth through smart, streamlined content and LinkedIn marketing strategies. His business focuses on simplifying the content creation process, enabling busy executives to amplify their presence across platforms with just a short monthly interview. Matthew's innovative approach challenges traditional B2B marketing methods, driving authentic and sustainable growth. With that being said, let me officially welcome you to Founders Future. Let's dive in. With every single one of my guests, I always love to start at the very beginning. So please go ahead and take us back in time before you even had your company. What were you doing before? What were you up to? And then eventually, what motivated you to start this business?
Yeah, so this is my fourth company. The first one I merged into a larger company, and then the second one I sold my shares in it. And the third one I shut down because I didn't really enjoy doing it and discovered that this was the business I needed to build. So the third one is a cold outreach agency. We did cold email and ran cold DMs on LinkedIn in the good old days when you could send 1,000 connection requests. We were your typical spray and pray agency, which is good old days when cold email used to work. But what I noticed was those brands that had content to begin with, cold email worked a lot better. Hence, if you're known and liked and trusted beforehand, cold email works better. People also were asking me how was I creating my content, because my previous agencies were inbound marketing, so I understood inbound marketing and I knew that involved content marketing. And I was like, I just have my EA interview me, and then I showed her how to use Descript to slice it and dice it into simple podcasting style square videos, the old style Gary Vee ones with a clickbaity headline and a little bit of closed captions. They were like quite janky and ugly, but I got asked all the time. I'm like, it takes me an hour. And they're like, what? How do you do that? And I got asked it enough time. I was like, I think this might be the business. So I asked my assistant at the time, I said, how do you feel about doing this for a few other people who keep asking me this? And they're like, okay, let's try it. And so I went and pitched about 10 people and I said, hey, this is what I do for myself. I could do it for you. It's a beta. I haven't done it before. It's probably going to suck, but if it totally sucks, I'll refund your money. If you like it, I'll charge you half price. And at the end of it, you got to pay full price. And a year from now, you owe me two referrals and a testimonial. And everybody said yes. And we got a testimonial and a referral from everyone. So I was like, ah, damn, I guess we got a business. So I killed the other business. And fast forward, here we are now, hundreds of customers. We work with busy executives. Usually it's a founder or a CEO. The common denominator, like all busy people, is time is their major obstacle. The other common denominator is their ideal buyers are on LinkedIn, and they believe in positioning themselves as a thought leader through content marketing. If those things are true, then it's likely that Demandii can help them or help you.
I love that, man. Now, this was actually part of my next question, but now that we understand who it actually is that you're looking for and who is the ideal customer, walk us through the system in place. What is the actual offer? What is going on inside a program or whatever the client goes through so that we have a better context?
Yeah, so the core offer or the gateway drug is content as a service. So this is productized services. It's almost very similar to SaaS. The reason why it works is this is that once I get a new executive onboarded, onboarding is a little bit more robust. I just need 2 hours of their time every single month. 1 hour to brainstorm their ideas and 1 hour to co-create it in a podcasting style. Now, once they do that, their 2 hours turns into our 40 hours, and we end up creating 20 posts for them. 10 are videos, 10 are text and images, all professionally done in their branding. Now, there's actually 5 people on our team, but they don't need to manage 5 people. More people equals more problems. Anybody who's been in business for a while understands this. That everybody wants less people to deal with, especially
Mm.
an executive. They don't need another person reporting to them that they need to manage. Those five people look like this. There's a media coach, a video editor, a graphic designer, a copywriter, and a project manager. Now, the media coach manages those four people and they deal directly with the media coach. The reason I part them with the media coach is because creating short form content is actually difficult. It's much more difficult than creating long form content. In fact, most of our executives are very good at talking. They can pitch and raise money. They can close a sale. They can get up on stage and do a talk and quite comfortable with it. They appear on a podcast like this. However, doing a 60-minute talk is easier than doing a talk.
Yeah.
And so it requires that constraint of time requires someone to be in the room working with you if you're going to do it well. The mistake most people make is they take long form content like this from a podcast and they try to clip it. Clipping it doesn't work. Sometimes you get the gold and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's a little too long-winded. You've got just seconds to get attention in the newsfeed and to make your point because short form content's job is to keep you top of mind, to get discovered, and to bait people into your marketing funnel. Your marketing funnel is the long form content with a podcast, a webinar, talking on stage, communities, your newsletter, your 10x blog post. Insert anything where someone spends longer than 60 seconds with you is your marketing funnel. And long form content's job is quite different than short form content's job, which is to build trust and demand. People confuse the two all the time. And so it's really important that they do it together. And this is why I pair them with a media coach, because even though they're really good speakers, you can't create and direct at the same time. This is why in movies you have an actor and then you have a director. And so you have to think of the media coach as your eyes and ears who's got your back to make sure you nail it right. Because many of the times our executives will come in, they say something quite brilliant, but it took them like 30 seconds to warm up to it. It's okay, we missed the hook. They say the
Yeah.
hook. And we go, okay, this time say the hook like you're enjoying this. And then they
Mm.
meander at the end. They're like, and then we're like, okay, cool. We have a great piece, but we didn't end it. We got to put a bow on it. What's the big takeaway? And so then we give them the takeaway and they're like, okay, that's a lot stronger. And then editing's their friend and nobody knows any different. And then what the amazing thing that happens for these individuals is once they've done this for a year and they practice with a coach, because we only get better when we have a coach, and they've done this for the year, they literally turn into what I call lean, mean soundbite machines, which means they have dozens of stories they've battle tested out with audiences to know that they connect and work. They've content marketing fit. And because they've content marketing fit, they now have a tool of stories that they can be parachuted into any situation without notice and pull them out on demand when appropriate, where they're compelling and they move people. It's like doing stand up. You ever noticed, Millen, you ever notice that your favorite comedians only do a Netflix special once every 2 years?
Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
Tell me.
It's because they spent the last 2 years going from comedy club to comedy club, testing new
Testing.
material. That's right. And it's usually on a Sunday or Monday. So if you like comedy, go out on Sunday, Monday. You get to see comics test new material. Usually it's just them, a weirdo like me, and other comedians. They'll come out with their piece of paper and they know they're going to bomb. Like they know out of their 60-minute set, they're going to find 2 minutes of gold and the other 58 minutes all
Yeah.
sucked. And they have to
Yeah.
test the material, not just like in one comedy club, because believe it or not, different audiences respond differently. So they got to test it in the South when they heckle you back. Then they got to test it in the North. Then they got to test it in the UK. Does it work with the Brits? Oh, does it work with the Canadians? And then once they find the joke works with everybody universally and they nail it every single time, they stack them. And then
Mm.
that's how they get the hour set that's a banger set. The
Yeah.
mistake most people make with this stuff is they're underinvested in the energy and the time and the care and the coaching of how long it takes to get really good at this. And this is why most of them give up, or most of them say it doesn't work, or their expectations are very unrealistic of like how much energy it takes to get into that lean, mean soundbite machine. But once you do that, it takes about a year. It's called the rule of 100. Once you've done that, the other side of that means that you're a super effective communicator. So not only are you staying top of mind with your existing clients and getting new business and all these amazing things are happening along the way, when you do your podcast, you can insert yourself in an intelligent way really quickly because you have the sound bites. Because often when you run a podcast, it becomes about the guest, me, right? Not you. How do you insert yourself? Two, it also allows you to close sales more faster, lead your clients and
Mm,
customers better, lead your team better. Literally, the benefits are endless from doing this type of work. Like, literally, if all I did was charge for them to just get the coaching in a private space, to make a more effective communicator, it would be worth every single penny.
yeah.
And so most people don't understand all these nuances, but this is the things that I've learned from doing it dozens of time and then speaking to the customers and asking them like, what has been the biggest transformation? So even though they wanted content, they wanted to stay top of mind, they wanted leads, they wanted to grow revenue. Honestly, the root cause of all these things that made things better was becoming a more effective communicator. And it was through this
Yeah.
practice of doing this, and that it only took them 2 hours per month to be able to do it is amazing.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I also gotta say that the example that you just gave us with the stand-up comics, that's a pretty incredible example. Because I feel like it has been changing in the past few years, but for a long time, the huge gap between the short form content and long form content, people didn't realize how much psychology actually goes into it. They knew that there's a lot of psychology going on if you communicate to somebody face to face. But yeah, when you don't get the offer and the messaging dialed in enough, then it's just not going to do any good to you. Yeah, I love that. Awesome, Matthew. I'm going to be respectful of your time. Let's switch to the back end side of the business for a second. This is something we always discuss. What does a company like yours currently do from like marketing slash lead generation standpoint to bring in new clients? What is the process like?
Yeah, so we eat our own dog food. We do exactly what we have our customers do. So it started
Yeah.
with me, obviously creating my content, but now I have 30 people who all publish content and do the same thing. We practice what we preach. Now, we also know that creating content's not enough. So the biggest obstacle for people is not more content or better content. It's getting the existing content that you have seen. And like anything, most people are greatly underinvested in distribution. So what I tell people is 20% of your budget goes to creating content and 80% goes to getting on LinkedIn. There's only two ways of getting grow your audience by connecting to more of them and getting more followers or using LinkedIn ads. The answer is both. It's not one or the other. You do both based on whatever budget you can afford. So we spend a healthy amount of budget on getting our content seen. And then once you make it seen, occasionally you need to make offers. And so I'm a big believer in kind of what Gary Vee is. It's like jab, right hook. So give,
Yeah.
ask. It's the same thing in any LinkedIn news feed or social media feed. It's usually two organic posts, one paid ad. The challenge with organic posts is like 10% of your followers are going to see it. If you
Mhm.
want to appear like Coca-Cola without spending Coca-Cola budgets, the easiest thing to do is to identify who your ideal buyers are, make a list of it. You can buy a list, you can scrape a list, you can use the LinkedIn demographics tool to reach them. You should never be complaining that you can't figure out who they are. If it's a B2B business, that is just lazy and not true. That's like the simplest thing to do. And then what you need to do is every damn time they log in, add value. And so you sponsor those thought leadership posts. And so there'll be two that just add value and one that makes an offer. And when you make an
Mhm.
offer, if you do it well and you understand how to stitch together a marketing and sales funnel, then it's going to work great. And so when it comes, you have to work backwards. So if your core offer is this, then you would know what it is. So our gateway drug is get your content created in 2 hours per month. Get 20 posts without taking up your time, right? That's our gateway offer. Obviously, we have upsells after that. We also do LinkedIn ads and lead magnets and your law, et cetera. But we start with the most basic offer. Now, prior to the most basic offer, you have to go, what is my foot in the door offer? And then you have to
Mhm.
go from my foot in the door offer. What is my long form mechanism that builds demand and trust? First one, you're going to start with some sort of video sales letter, but you can expand upon that. Then the 7 day micro course. And then beyond that, you create like webinars. And then beyond that, you create like podcasts and media companies and speaking and communities and network. And you get the idea, but start somewhere. Usually some sort of VSL would be a good one. A 5 minute VSL is like easy thing to do. And then from there, you have to go, okay, what would be the lead magnet that's prior to that? And then before that, you go, how do we touch it to the short form content? So one of the things we do when we work with people is we don't just fart out content for the sake of farting out content. Like step one, when we do onboarding is we actually connect your marketing and your sales funnels together and make it make sense and make sure that you have at least one offer with one VSL so that makes it. And then we can start creating content. And of course, creating content is nuanced as well too. We call it the ACES method. You want to create some content that's authority content, some that's connect content, some that's engagement content, some of it is that is show content, which is just demonstration content. So authority content is like your unique point of view and how you solve problems, like your micro TED Talks. Connect
Mhm.
content is stuff that hits the heart, the gut, and the funny bone. Engagement content starts conversations where you gamify it and vote. And show content is your demonstration content. Before and afters, testimonials, your secret sauce. Give away some of your signature system, your cheat sheets. Make people instantly more awesome and show them that you've done this before. If you do those types of things and then you take them through a natural progression, you'll be able to generate a very full pipeline. For example, for us, I have 40 sales appointments every single month on my calendar with ease. And then I cherry pick the 10 to 12 clients that I want to do business with, and life is good. And I have a nice, predictable way of growing my business.
I love that. Now, I just want to speak directly to our listeners. I strongly recommend that you replay the last 3, 4 minutes because there was a lot of gold that you just threw at us, Matthew. Very good answer. I love that. It sounds like you guys really have a good operation going on. It's set up pretty nicely for you to scale predictably, just like you said. So before we wrap it up, one last question, real quick, in a couple of sentences. If you think about the future of the company, obviously you want to scale even further, have bigger impact, help a lot more people. What would you say is going to be the biggest challenge to making that happen and scaling even further?
The biggest challenge is always the same challenge for all businesses that are bootstrapped is either cash and getting the founder out of the way. The founder and the operator who started the company is usually the single root cause of most of the problems. So the challenge is there's different stages to companies after running. So there's really 6 stages. There's like product market fit, startup, stay up, okay, scale up, and then there's big business and then your investor. So when your investor is like you're out of the company, you own it, it's an asset. It's like a wonderful thing to have. Very few companies ever achieve it. Product market fit is fun, but once you get it, it's really easy to get to the stay up. Where people scale, like stall out, is between stay up and scale up. And the reason being is they're probably around a revenue if they're bootstrapped, like 3 million, 2 million, 4 million, something like that in general. Like these are, there's different numbers depending on whether you sell into enterprise, mid-market, or SMBs, but in general, that's the case. And the reason they stall out is because they've grown so much, but then they don't have all the right bodies, but yet they can't afford the right bodies. And so they have to like stumble sideways and have to build the plane as they're flying it. It fucking sucks. Pardon my French. But basically, once they get beyond a certain revenue number, they can start affording all the different hires. Then it gets a lot better. Once you can start affording really smart people, they cost like $200,000, $300,000 a year, your VPs and some of the C-suite. Oh man, life starts to get easier, and then the founder can get out of the way. Usually, the founder doesn't even know how to do these roles, or they haven't done it before. There's a process to doing it. You can do one per year to get through the different stages, but most stall out. Like I know many people who've had a 10-year startup because they just are on the same damn hamster wheel. And usually it's the founder who's causing all the damn problems. So it's money or it's usually the founder that's the problem.
Yeah, I love that, man. Awesome. Thank you for walking us through that. With that being said, this also pretty much wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Futures. Matthew, I just want to say a huge thank you for taking the time today and sharing your journey with us. If somebody wanted to connect with you, reach out, perhaps even work with you one day, what is the best way to contact you?
Yeah, there's only 2 ways to get in touch with me on purpose. So you can go to Demandii, that's with like demand and then ends with 2i's.com. There's a one-page website on purpose. You can watch the 10-minute VSL, or you can reach out and book a call with us, or you can find me on LinkedIn. And if you just type in Matthew Hunt LinkedIn or Matthew Hunt Demandii, I should be the first one that shows up in search, or even within the LinkedIn platform, you'll find me. Other than that, I'm nowhere else. You're not going to find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, maybe one day, but right now I'm just trying to stay focused on those 2 things. Everything else is just noise.
Yeah. Love that. Awesome, Matthew. Now, for our listeners, if today's conversation inspired you as well, make sure to subscribe to Founders Future on your favorite platform. And if you're a business owner, more specifically a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, and you're looking to scale your company and really enhance both your sales and marketing efforts, also visit closers.io, get in touch with our team, and see how exactly we took our company from zero to over 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing, and I'll see you on the next one.